So before we embark on this 4,000 hour long video about men's dress shirts and the sell-through rate, we should talk about what the sell-through rate is and how it works. The formula for sell-through rate is the amount of items sold divided by the amount of items active multiplied by 100. In a real-world example, a Ralph Lauren plaid flannel shirt, go on eBay, men large, search it, 1,900 items active. Scroll down on the left, you can click on sold items and see how many have sold. 720 have sold in the last 90 days. So following the formula, it's basically 720 sold divided by 1,900 active, multiplied by 100, brings us to 37. 37% sell-through rate. What that means is that there's a 37% chance for the item to sell within the next 90 days on eBay. Is a good barometer of how good a market is for a specific item. It's not everything, but it is very important to understand how it works, because when you've got money wrapped up in an item, you want your money back as soon as possible, which is why you'll see people like me talking about doing their best to sell stuff that has the highest sell-through rate possible. 100% or more is obviously the best possible sell-through rate. Sell-through rate changes every single hour on eBay. It can go up and down. Month to month, it changes a lot. Season to season, it changes ridiculously. Sold divided by active times 100 gives you the sell-through rate. Men's dress shirts as a category, if you look at the numbers, is not the greatest niche to get into in men's clothing on eBay. Of course, there are many shirts inside of the niche that are totally worth going after. But if you're looking for somewhere to start and you're a new reseller, this is not the niche for you. This takes some effort, a lot of knowledge, and some experience, and you have to be very careful with condition. So a couple of things before we start the brands. This is a niche that's difficult to deal with for a few reasons. First of all, new with tags items sell way better. This is for men's dress shirts. This means that they're going to a fancy office dinner, or they have a wedding to go to, or it's for an office job. For whatever reason, it's a formal event. The shirt needs to be pristine. It has to look great. It can't have rips or holes or be missing buttons. So you're not going to get away with that kind of stuff in this niche. And if you do find a flawed dress shirt that's a fancy brand, good for you, but you're going to get a very dwindling return on it. So flaws are bad, stains are bad. As a niche, used, the sell-through rate is 20% in men's dress shirts across the whole category used on eBay. New, the sell-through rate is 24%, so it's only 4% better new, which is weird. And that's for all three categories of new. New with tags, new with defects, and new without tags. New with tags only, which is the most desirable condition, is 22% sell-through rate. And the whole niche, new and used, added together is a 21% sell-through rate on eBay for men's dress shirts. The first brand has a sell-through rate of 550%. The brand is Courtings of Piccadilly. This is many times associated with J. Crew, which kind of blew my mind. See, some of these shirts did go for $44, $33, $20 on that one. So they're not all going to be worth a ton of money. But the tag looks like this, Courtings, and sometimes it's associated with J. Crew. But if you see Courtings of Piccadilly by itself or for J. Crew, either way, that's included in the 550% sell-through rate. So there's not a ton of these out there, but if you find them, they're going to sell, so it's worth grabbing for sure if it's in good condition. This is a brand I did not know about. It is called State and Liberty. The sell-through rate is 357%. Fairly small market size of just over 35 items in total. You can see they sell for very good money new, $70. 35 used, 39, this person got 40. So there's something annoying about State and Liberty, and I'll show you what that is right now. The tags do not show up in the collar, and it's not branded at all. you're going to grab one of these shirts and it looks like this, and you're going to put it back because it looks like mass-produced garbage. You need to know this, and this is irritating, like I said. The RN number for State and Liberty is 162468. Once again, it's 162468. Super annoying to have to remember an RN number, isn't it? But you're lucky because they also put an embroidery on the hem, S and L. So you'll see an embroidery on the hem, and you'll see the RN number on the tag if the tag hasn't been pulled off. They sell for great money, and the sell-through rate is 357%. There's a close-up of the embroidery. And this is how they look when you find Manu with tags. State and Liberty, stainless steel collar stays inside. Next is Rowe. Sell-through rate on Rowe is 216%. This is not technically a dress shirt brand, but I included it because it kept showing up in my searches, and they do make many shirts that appear to be dress shirts or at least casual button-ups like these. You'll notice first that this sold for $58 used, and it's a plain blue check shirt. This commuter shirt sold for $50. Rowe holds its value pretty well. $45 used. Keep in mind double XL is a good size. So I don't need to belay the point. Rowe sells for good money. And the tag looks like this. Sometimes if this is worn off, you will see these X's on the shoulder here sometimes, or on the back. It's the 3 X's stacked on top of each other. So with a sell-through rate of 182%, is a relatively new brand, at least it's new to me, called Wool and Prints. They specialize in merino blend shirts or full merino shirts, and they do have formal wear. They are considered dress shirts, and this is several of the solds. A quick note, as you will see throughout this video, you are going to see some that sold for significantly less, and I'll explain that when we see them. This one sold for $40 used. This one they got $59.95 American pesos. 21 ducats for this. You want to know why? Why did they get 21 and this person got 59? Because they did an auction. I'm going to say this once and I'm not going to repeat myself. Don't do auctions with men's clothing. There's maybe 1 or 2 items in the entire world where that's a good idea when it comes to men's clothing. Just put it up as buy it now, okay? Thanks. This one got probably around 40. So Wool and Prints, they make wool, merino stuff. That's the tag. You definitely want to grab Wool and Prints with a sell-through rate of 182%. Next is your buddy Luca Faloni. Looks like so. $43, 70 d'Orleans. Did I say d'Orleans like New Orleans? 70 d'Orleans. 79 darlings. 69 ducats. Actually, they probably got 60. But that's a lot of pennies if you add it up. Luca Faloni, white linen, somewhere around 70 something. And now it's time to look at the tag. This is what the tag looks like, Luca Faloni. And a quick note, for men's dress shirts, you will not see large, medium, extra large on all the shirts. Many times it'll be this nonsense. So if you're not familiar with what this means, 16.5 is the neck size, 42 is the arm length. So what this typically, the way I look at it, is 16 and 16.5 is typically associated with large. 15, 15.5 is typically associated with medium. Below 15, typically associated with small, and it gets smaller as you go down to 14, 13, whatever. 17, 18, 19, you're getting up into XL, 2XL. Viori. This should not be here, but it kept showing up in my searches, and we're talking about dress shirts. Viori is an athletic brand like Lululemon. It feels and looks much like Lululemon. The tags look like Lululemon, but they're in the dress shirt video because they do have a lot of button-down shirts that look semi-fancy, at least casual dress. So Viori is one of my favorite brands these days because it sells quickly. Let's take a look at some of the offerings here. If you're familiar with Lululemon, tell me this doesn't look exactly like a Lululemon dress shirt. Identical collar, identical look on the buttons. The hem looks the same. I mean, this is a rip-off of Lululemon exactly. Even the tags look the same. But where they differ is Viori has a little thing on the side, and they actually have tags inside. It'll say Viori, style numbers, and that's another thing. This is one of those brands. Actually, this is becoming true with almost all brands these days. Style numbers, you just can't get away from them. You're going to have to look them up. I'm sorry. If you want all the money, you got to know all the info. So these guys have style numbers. Just look them up. It's worth it. I mean, this one, it'll say the style number probably somewhere under there it is. V1002. Not hard to look up. You'll find out what it is and you'll get more money. So yeah, Viori, love it. Sell-through rate is 160%. They do make lots of stuff, including shorts, everything else you can imagine, but their button-down shirts sell really well. Next we have a brand. Here's a close-up of the tag, sorry. Next we're going with Sulka, S-U-L-K, Sulka or Sulka. Pretty much only a dress shirt brand that I know of. Very small market size. You're not likely to find many of these out there, but the tags look like this when you do find them, and as you can see, they sell for pretty good money. This one they got $20. I wonder why. Oh, it's an auction. $300 for that one. Sulka, 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 McSulkason. And here's a vintage tag. Some of the vintage ones will have the date. If you find a vintage one, it can be worth more money. Not always, but it could be. Not a brand I know a lot about. Sulka. Just if you see this tag, there's a good chance you ought to be picking it up. 142% sell-through rate is Relwen. This is a Huckberry brand. They're not known for their dress shirts. It's not a dress shirt brand. It's more of an outdoors activewear style brand. They make casual shirts. They make shorts, pants. Relwen, not known for their dress shirts, but they do make a handful of these kind of casual button-downs. And they sell for really, really good money, as many Huckberry brands do. This is what the tag looks like. It has the little sideways looking bird. Unremarkable in every other way. There it is again. Get to know that little picture, that little bird thing. Here's another one. Let's take a look at the actual sold prices because this is remarkable. These are used items. $50 for that shirt. $129, that one was new though. Pre-owned, they got somewhere around $50. $34, not bad. $25 for a polo shirt. That's pretty good for a polo shirt. So Relwen, great brand. Look for their long sleeve button-ups. Their polos, basically anything. And now we're moving right along here. We do still have a good handful of dress shirts with 100% sell-through rates. So hang in there, we're getting through some good stuff. Next we have a French brand called Charvet or Charvet. I guess it's Charvet. I'd say Charvet. These sell great for, as you can see, $82 pre-owned, $222. This is a perfect example of what I said at the top of the video. A lot of these people are pros in this niche and they will go through the effort to make their shirts really look nice. Like this crispy fancy folding. I mean, I think it looks fancy, but it might not look that great to you. This one has the tag. That's what it looks like. And this is what the actual tag looks like inside the shirt. These things sell for a lot of money. See, here's the size 4317. I would call that a mid-size extra large. So next we have our friend Bucky McMasonite. This brand is good in almost every category I find it in. Many of them are made in the USA, not all of them are, but the USA ones can sometimes go for more money. Buck Mason, sell-through rate is 130%. It's a fairly large market size. What's notable as far as this list goes is, as of now, it is the largest market size of any brand I've talked about yet. You're very likely to find this out there. Buck Mason will sell for good money too. A polo for $15 is not great, but you want to look for the long sleeve button downs. That's what we're talking about. 35 here, 23 there, 35 for that one, 38, almost 39. Again, 38, 39 for a Henley. So Buck Mason, the USA made stuff, does a little bit better. Sell-through rate 130%. Definitely a BOLO in this category and any category you find it in. If the condition's suffering, you're going to want to think twice if you're paying up for it. Because like I said, this category, button-up shirts, people are buying it for work and stuff, you're not going to do well with holes and stains. Next, now I'm going to make a bold statement here. This is a great picture of a Buck Mason tag first. That's not the bold statement. Buck Mason tag looks a lot like the next tag. That kind of strikes me that I don't think they're made by the same company, but they certainly know about each other, if you know what I mean. Next, this is my bold statement. Tailor Stitch is, in my opinion, the best men's dress shirt brand that you can buy and sell. The reason I say that, even though the sell-through rate's 120% versus everything I've talked about already, has a much higher sell-through rate, such as Piccadilly 550, State and Liberty 357. So why do I think Tailor Stitch is so great? Well, it has a long track record, first of all. Second of all, I've had a lot of experience with it. I find it often. Every time I find it, it sells almost immediately. And the market size is massive compared to the other brands we've talked about. Right here, Tailor Stitch, we're looking at a full market size active and sold squished together of about a full 2,200 shirts bought and sold on eBay. This is a pre-owned short sleeve Western shirt that sold for $45. They probably got 60 for this. You need to know about this, not this one, it's coming up though. All of these sold for good money, $54 for that. But we want to talk about this guy here. So the Yosemite by Tailor Stitch is like a chamois flannel shirt. If you find a chamois flannel Yosemite, you might not know it's called a Yosemite, but that's why I'm telling you. If it's a chamois flannel with the two flat pockets and it's Tailor Stitch, it's a Yosemite shirt. And the sell-through rate is really good, and they're going to go for 40 to 50 bucks sometimes. I don't know what they got here, but you want to get that Yosemite shirt if you can. And any button-up shirt from Tailor Stitch is going to be a definite pickup. No questions asked. It's my favorite men's semi-dress casually type brand, period. Next we have a close-up of Tailor Stitch. This looks much like Buck Mason here. Buck Mason, Tailor Stitch. Buck Mason, Tailor Stitch. Very similar, don't you think? Next we have Willis and Geiger. This is an outlier in the way that it's not necessarily a dress shirt brand, but it is definitely something you should be looking for. You'll typically find the big flat pockets with the cargo folds so that the pockets can expand more. It's more of a hiking safari style. You'll notice the keyword safari a lot with Willis and Geiger. It's a button-up, long sleeve type of shirt. A lot of times you'll see the shooting pad, the shoulder pad for your gun, and the tag. I actually have a tag right here. I have experience with this brand in the way that I've bought and sold 3 or 4 of the shirts that look just like these I've shown you, and I sold one of their jackets. It was a really lucky find. I sold it for about 350 bucks. It was a basic jacket. It almost looked like a members only jacket with the, the normal banding on the hem and the silly little zippers and the little band collar. Nothing special, but still Willis and Geiger. If you find the jackets, that's some good stuff right there too. But any of the shirts, Willis and Geiger, look for it. It's going to sell well. It looks like safari shirts. Quickly, let's take a quick look through this list again. They don't all have the big flaps. Sometimes you'll see something like this, and it doesn't look immediately like it's a Willis and Geiger, but be looking at those tags. Look for that blue Willis and Geiger tag. It's worth the work. Next we have a brand that everybody knows about. It is Filson. The sell-through rate on Filson for men's casual button-down shirts, and dress shirts is 109%, with a massive market size, right about 4,500 items bought and sold on eBay. It almost doesn't belong in this list because this is for dress shirts or casual button-downs that are sort of dressy. But Filson is more known for their rugged outdoor wear, their flannels, their denim shirts, their leather jackets and stuff. However, they show up in every search in men's dress shirts, so I had to include it. And you have to get to know Filson. $100 for this, 31 for the shooting shirt, 35, 20 bucks for that one. Again, it's an auction. Why? $32, $50 for this one brand new. So it's good stuff. Filson, I will say that Filson has dropped a bit in the last couple years as far as their value goes. It used to be super rare. Now it's a little more common. They are still manufacturing heavily, but they're keeping their supply to a reasonable point so it's not flooding the market. Everybody already knows about Filson. It's not like one of those BOLO brands that people start finding out about and then you never find it anymore. It's not like that at all. It's been around for years and everybody's always known that it's worth selling. And it still is. 109% sell-through rate. Anything Filson, you're going to grab it. I think I have a close-up of the tag. Filson has a handful of tags depending on the era, but they almost all strongly resemble this. The older ones look a bit different, but if you see Filson or CC Filson in the diamond, then you know you're picking that thing up. Next, we have 106% sell-through rate. It is Turnbull and Asser, a brand that is known for, in the UK, it's more of a British style brand, but with a sell-through rate of 106%, full market size of nearly 1,000 items, you need to know about it. You can see that they sell for good money. 52, 50, 40, 44, 39, $19 pre-owned. They didn't try too hard, so you got to give them credit on that one. $35 for these, 27. Turnbull and Asser is a great brand, and we need to get a close-up of a tag here. Turnbull and Asser, great brand. Again, it's got the 16.5 as opposed to the large. So you're going to look at the 16, and sometimes it helps to put in your title, if it's a 16.5, also put an L. People that aren't familiar with dress shirts will know that that'll fit a large or should fit a large. Well, there's a lot of nuance in the sizing, but in general, 16 and 16.5 is associated with men's large. And our final 100% sell-through rate item is the Overshop. It is a small brand, but it is exactly 100% sell-through rate. As you can see, that these shirts will go for some good money. 30, almost $40 on that one, 39 on this one. They got 40 on this one, 40 on this one, 40 on this one. Good stuff for sure. Overshop, some of the stuff is vintage too, and the vintage stuff also sells well. The Overshop. If you ever see that, you're going to pick it up because it's 100% sell-through rate. Keep an eye on the condition, and as usual, the more bright, the louder, the better condition, the more you're going to get. But every brand up to this point has been 100% sell-through or more, meaning it is pretty much guaranteed, if you price it correctly, to sell within 90 days. The higher the sell-through rate, the faster the sale. The 500% sell-through rate, the Courtings of Piccadilly, are likely to sell within a week or two or something like that very quickly. The sell-through rates of under 100 down to, I believe, 60. The reason I'm including them is because a lot of them are still worth knowing. With a sell-through rate of 93.5% is Loro Piana. This I would say, it should have been in the 100% sell-through rate category. It's very close. Loro Piana is a type of wool fabric house in Italy, but they also have their own house brand. Not all of their stuff is wool. Some of it's cotton, some of it's silk. But it does have a strong brand recognition, so Loro Piana, when it comes to formal wear, dress shirts, you find a Loro Piana piece, consider it as pretty much having a 100% sell-through rate, even though it's 93%. People are getting $167 for a used dress shirt. Look at the sizing though, and it's silk. So $64, $49, $99, $59. Polo shirts for $59, that's pretty good. Anything Loro Piana you find is going to be worth picking up. Obviously, the dress shirts sell great. 93% sell-through rate. Look at that picture of the background. I think there's a shirt in there. If you zoom in, you can see there's a shirt there. This is a pile of cloth. $90. Not bad. Loro Piana, be aware of it. Grab it. Consider it 100% sell-through rate. Next is kind of interesting. This is a specific subline of Lululemon that I included called Airing Easy. Lululemon Airing Easy. Sell-through rate 86%. It's a subline of Lululemon, and they have a lot. A lot of these are polo shirts, but that's not what this video is about. They also have these. Long sleeve button-down Airing Easies. And I'm not sure how you're going to know it's Airing Easy unless you find the style dot, which sometimes you won't find in shirts. But it's a fair guess if you find a Lululemon button-down shirt, if you find that they have holes in the armpits or any kind of venting, that it's possibly an Airing Easy. And the sell-through rate is 86%. I wanted to show a long sleeve. This one here might not be a great example, but look how similar these lines look, and this the actual look of the shirt. Look how similar this is to that Viori I showed earlier. The collar looks identical, the sleeves look the same, the hem looks the same. Lululemon and Viori are nearly indistinguishable, except for they feel different and the tags look slightly different. With a sell-through rate of 83% is Fairdy. A great brand. I'd say it's definitely in the top tier of men's casual / dress shirts. They also make flannels and stuff. But this category I put in my notes casual button down. Many of the shirts I've shown are specifically in the dress shirt category. This one I included even though this video is about dress shirts. These are casual button downs. Just because it's worth mentioning in this video because a lot of these do look like dress shirts. 35 bucks, 25, so Fairdy, great brand. They're in my last haul video. Tags look like this. You find it, you're going to grab it. Most likely, it's going to sell fairly quickly. I mean, with 83% is a pretty good sell-through rate. Next is Fred Perry. And Fred Perry has a sell-through rate of 80%. So this means Fred Perry, the sell-through rate is 80%. And the solds, let's go back to the solds. Pretty impressive. A lot of these came from the UK. But still, if you find Fred Perry, it's going to be worth picking up if you get it cheap. 80% is a pretty good sell-through rate. And you know, basic $25 shirts. You're not going to get too much. They got 37 there, but 50 on this one. New without tags though. So Fred Perry, definitely worth checking at least. Bruno Cucinelli, great brand. Pretty decent market size. I forgot to mention Fairdy. Let's go back to Fairdy. Market size on Fairdy is big. 4,500 units bought and sold on eBay, so definitely the largest in this list. Brunello Cucinelli. The notable thing about this brand is the amount of money you can get for it. With a 78% sell-through rate and the average sold prices, I'm not going to do the math, but I think it's clear that this is way above average for men's dress shirts. 275 new, 300 new, a lot of pre-owned, 115 for pre-owned, 72 pre-owned. Brunello Cucinelli, you're going to want to look for these shirts. I've actually found a couple, not shirts, but I found a pair of pants. That's the tag. Definitely grab Brunello Cucinelli. R.M. Williams with a sell-through rate of 74%. Fairly small market size, about 700 units bought and sold on eBay. This is what they look like. I believe it's associated with Australia. I feel like it's an Australian brand. The sell-through, like I said, not too bad. 74%. Let's take a look at the tag. There we go. R.M. Williams, look for the tag. It's a pretty good brand. It's Australian. Good sell-through rate. And pretty good money too if you look at the solds. 25, 20, some of these are less, 13, but look at the shipping. So, not going to make you rich, but if you find it, don't pass it by because it's definitely worth picking up. If you look at a lot of the other brands on this list that we're going to get to, it's way better than a lot of them. So keep in mind R.M. Williams, it's worth picking up. J-Press, sell-through rate of 73%. 30 bucks just about, 40 bucks on that. 31, 39, 39, 25, 39. So it goes for good money. Let's take a look at this tag. I've bought and sold J-Press personally 3 or 4 times. This is the tag. Made in USA. So yeah, it's not 100%, but we're in the 70% sell-through rates now, and I guess now is a good time as any to explain a little bit of why I'm spending time on these. When you get below 100% sell-through rate, you get into the 70s and 80s. These are still really desirable items, but you need to be a little more interested in the nuance on each particular item that you're looking at when you get below 100%. So for example, when you find a J-Press, before you buy it, you might want to look at it and look for very similar solds on eBay. Not just J-Press, but look for the pattern, look for the size. Get as close as you can to the item and see what you can expect to get. With thrift prices being what they are these days, if you're looking at possibly getting a $40 return, you're going to want to make sure you're not spending too much money to get the item. And around here, some of the thrift prices are ridiculous. I might have to pay $20 to make $40, which, I mean, thankfully that's not what usually happens, but in the worst case scenario, if you're paying up for a 78% sell-through rate item, you're going to want to know the nuance. You're going to want to know exactly what you can expect. So J-Press, 73% sell-through rate. 72% sell-through rate Psycho Bunny. This brand continues to have a decent sell-through rate for some reason. The long sleeve button-down shirts are the ones we're interested in right now. 25 to maybe 30. 2 years ago it was 35 to 40 all day long. But like most things, they will decrease in value as the brand begins to get greedy and overproduce. So Psycho Bunny, there's the tag. And right now, the sell-through rate 72%. You're not going to get a lot of money. 25 tops, 30 maybe, depending on the item. But these kind of button-up shirts, if you're lucky to get $30. So don't be greedy. Just take what you can get on these. This is a brand that I found recently and sold. It actually sold quicker than I expected. Hilditch and Key. It is a Savile Row brand. I think they have their mothership on Savile Row in London, which is where the British fashion industry kind of lives. Hilditch and Key. Actually, it's not Savile Row. It's Germain Street. My mistake. This is the tag. And here in the States, you're not going to fetch that much money for Hilditch and Key. But it's a brand I didn't know about. Now I do, and I'm glad I do because I have bought and sold it since. $35 is still really good if you find it cheap. 25, 29. It's not bad. It's not a Brunello Cucinelli. It's not a Loro Piana, but Hilditch and Key will get you 25 to 30 ducats. Next, we have a brand I had never heard of, but now I know. Kamakura Makers. Sell-through rate 68%. So take a look at these. $40, 140 on this. 38, 50, somewhere around 40, 39. And if you're wondering why are we looking at sell-through rates of 68%, because you can get 40, 50, $70 for these shirts. So you might have to hold them a little bit longer, but that's the dress shirt game. If you want high sell-through rate, look at outerwear. Look at, men's exercise clothes. Look at that kind of stuff for quick flipping. If you want to make bigger money, sometimes you're going to have to sit. So dress shirts are all about the best pictures, knowing the most keywords, the best condition, new with tags if you can, knowing the nuance. The Kamakura Maker shirts, pretty good. Maker shirt right there, made in Japan. Doesn't say Kamakura Makers on the tag, it just says Maker shirt, made in Japan. Sid Mashburn, with a sell-through rate of 64%. Average sell price, probably somewhere around $30, 25, if you average it all together. Nothing too special about it, just know the brand Sid Mashburn. Okay, so Sid Mashburn, that's what the tag looks like. Keep your eye out for it. If you find it, know that the sell-through rate is 64%. So when you're picking up these kind of shirts, you're not picking them up for the quick flip. You're picking them up for the possible money. Make sure it's in really good condition, and make sure that whatever's wrong with it can be fixed. If there's something very wrong with it, leave it behind, because there's a lot of competition out there, and your competitors' pictures are great. Your competitors' shirts are in perfect condition. So if yours isn't, you're either going to have to make it that way or accept a lot less money. And like I said, the sell-through rate isn't great on these, so they're not quick flips. So don't pay up for them unless you know they're in great condition. Next, Barelli Napoli. Barelli Napoli. Luigi Barelli. A fairly high-priced brand. $235 new, $49 used, $39 used. Luigi Barelli Napoli. Tag looks like such. Barelli Napoli. 63% sell-through rate. Collars & Co. These guys make polo shirts. The reason I included it is because I found one recently and it sold really quickly. And then I found another one, and of course I picked it up because the first one sold. The second one hasn't sold yet. This is a brand that when you see the tag, you're going to think it's garbage, but it's not. They will sell. 63% sell-through rate. They're not super quick, but there's not that many of them out there. So if you find them in really good condition and you don't mind sitting on them, if you get them for a good price, I'd say it's worth picking them up. If you have the space, you don't mind sitting for a minute, don't leave it behind. I mean, this is free money if you find it. There's the tag, Collars & Co. As far as I know, they only make polo shirts. And they make those polo shirts where the buttons go halfway down, kind of like some of the Crickets do. And it feels like performance stretchy, kind of, that's kind of the trend these days. Next, we have James Purse. I know you were waiting for this brand because everyone knows and loves James Purse. Sell-through rate is 62%, which was disappointing because I know this brand really well. I would have thought that the sell-through rate was a lot more because everything I find from James Purse sells fairly quickly. That being said, after I saw the sell-through rate of 62%, I started thinking about it and going through my store, and I do have a lot of James Purse that has been sitting. I probably overpriced it if I'm being honest. But it is a great brand. Most of it is made in the USA. You get a good price for this stuff. That's why I'm talking about it. $58, $49, $22 for this one, but look, it's wrinkled up and stuff. Again, like I said at the top of the video, condition and presentation matters a lot in this niche. It's got the bust, the little mannequin there. It's a little wrinkled, but the presentation sold the shirt for $50. Well, I mean, it is a new other too, but still $58 for pre-owned. That's on a hanger, but there's no wrinkles. It's good lighting. So dress shirts, presentation matters a lot more. And you've been waiting for this one too, Todd Snyder. I'm surprised also that it's only 61% sell-through rate, but I didn't make the rules. I didn't make these numbers. That's what it is. Todd Snyder, a brand that I would have thought had a higher sell-through rate, but it is 61%. Still, I pick it up when I find it if I get it at a good price. 25, 29, 24, 34. It's far less than it was 2 years ago. This person scored with the $54 because it was a new other. But $25 is what you're going to get. Don't try to overprice Todd Snyder. It's not 2020 anymore. Todd Snyder does not go for what it used to. But if you find it for $7 to $8, it's worth picking up if you have the space. It's a great brand. As long as your pictures are clear, and if you can go the extra mile and make sure it looks really good, you'll probably get $5 to $10 more. Next is another brand I'm familiar with, Gustin. I've bought and sold this brand several times. Their jeans do well. Shirts do good. Sell-through rate's not what I would like it to be, but it's 60%. It's an American-made brand. They make a lot of outdoorsy stuff like this heavy denim-looking shirt. This was a great find, whoever found this. I would have thought $29 was not good enough. This is a khaki color, thick cotton button-up. Looks more like a denim to me, but I could be wrong. It could just be like a twill. But Gustin, it's a great brand. Like I said, the sell-through rate is only 60%. It's not going to be a quick flip, but you could get good money for these, but don't try to overprice it. And, we are down to the last one for this category. or this group of percentages, which is 60 to 99%. Ministry of Supply. Ministry of Supply. This is a brand that has fallen quite a ways in recent years. Still a brand I always pick up when I find it, but it's worth less than it was, and it's way more common than it used to be. Ministry of Supply, if I can pull up the data here, is missing from my notes. I somehow have deleted it, so we're going to have to do it on the fly. Ministry of Supply, 215 sold, 451 active. 60% sell-through rate for Ministry of Supply. I would have thought it would be higher. This is a brand that I always considered one of the best, one of the better men's formally type brands to find. And now it's kind of a mid, but it's still worth picking up. As you can see, if you can get 30 or more for any button-down shirt, I'd say that that's a pretty good win. If you find it in the thrift store for a good price. $20 for this. 4 years ago, that would have been $35. But we have to live in the now. Still a good brand, still $40 if it looks really nice or you find the right shirt. More often than not, you're looking at $20 to $25. The really nicer ones will get a higher price. If it has a shine to it and it's more of a performance fabric, you're going to get more. But Ministry of Supply is definitely worth knowing. Now the next group of brands are less than 60% sell-through rate. We're going to go from 60% all the way down to the bottom of the barrel. The reason I bother doing this is because there are some brands worth knowing in this tier, I guess you would say. I'm not going to go over every one of them because there are still 50, 60, 70 more brands. We're going to go over every one of them. I'll show you all of them, but I'm only going to talk about a handful because there's only a handful worth my time and worth your time, worth knowing about these. Some of them are just straight trash, and I'm going to tell you those too. So let's start right now with, Wallace & Barnes is the J. Crew subline, have button-down shirts. The sell-through rate is 59%. Some are good, some are not. I'm not going to get too far into it. J. Peterman, they do have some, but the sell-through rate is up into the 80s and some where it's 30. But overall, the brand for button-down shirts is 59%. J. Peterman, worth looking at if you find one. Look at the comps. Next is one I will talk about with a little bit of context, is Mizzen in Maine. This was one of my favorite brands for a long, long time. It was like an old trusty. Anytime I found it, I knew that I could count on it to make me at least $30. Now, it's a bit overproduced. They've outsourced a lot of it to Pakistan or I forget where. It used to be USA made, very small shop. There wasn't that much of it out there. Things change, and Mizzen in Maine is a shadow of its former self. Sell-through rate is 58%. That being said, here's something you need to know. There are two very popular sort of sublines of Mizzen in Maine, the Leeward and the Spinnaker. And of those two, the Leeward sells quite a bit better than the Spinnaker. So you want to look for the larger sizes. The 2XL and up will sell a little quicker. This here is, you can't see it, but I think it's a Leeward. It's under the hanger. So any Mizzen in Maine made in America is more desirable than the made somewhere else. And the Leeward is more desirable than the Spinnaker. Larger sizes are more desirable than smaller. They're not going to sell as quick as they used to, but they're worth looking at and looking up. Sometimes you could get up to $35 for a really good one. If you find it new with tags, it's definite pickup, definitely, always good. Next, another one that the money's in the nuance is RRL. RRL is the line Ralph Lauren himself is most proud of, as far as I know. A lot of great stuff. As far as the button-down shirts, the casual dress shirts, is what this whole video is all about, not great. Sell-through rate is 57%. Some of it's worth picking up, some of it isn't. The solds The reason we're looking at this is because the crazy stuff will sell for really good money. Anything that's odd with RRL, you're going to want to grab. If it's plaid, if it's denim, if it's corduroy, if it has a pattern, it's a grab. If it's an RRL, just a regular button-down shirt, it may not be worth picking up if you're paying up way up for it. But most of it, you'll see, is worth good money. So the reason I brought it up is because the sell-through rate is not great if you look at the whole thing as far as men's button-down shirts. But anything you find that's a little bit unique is definitely worth it, because even if you have to sit for a while, I would sit on this for a while for $279, wouldn't you? So next, I'm going to go through blah, blah. I'm going to go through Ariat is a Western type brand. Sell-through rate's 57%. Some's good, some's bad. Harvey and Hudson, meh. Leonardi, some stuff. 32 Bar Blues, that's a brand that can be good. Keep an eye out for it. Sell-through rate's 55%. Pendleton, you would think I would be showing on the screen and talking a lot about it, but I'm not. For button-down casual shirts and dress shirts, it's just not really, it's not really a contender. 53% sell-through rate. Of course their flannel sell. Of course their outdoor rugged shirt with the flat pocket sell. We're talking about dress shirts in this video, so in that regard, Pendleton's not really that great. If you find the new Chinese Pendleton dress shirt, might not even be worth picking up. Next, Marine Layer. This one's one of the ones I highlighted to talk about just because it's a brand that I like a lot. Their button-down dress shirts, casual shirts, do sell for some pretty good money. The sell-through rate is only 52%. $20 to $30. These are all typical Marine Layer prices. Their flannels sell really good. Their straight-up dress shirts, button-downs can sell pretty good. The sell-through rate's not great. This is another brand that used to be worth a lot more. If you find it new with tags, it sells a lot better. There's another brand called Emma Willis we're not going to get into, but the sell-through rate's 52%. Next, Isaiah Napoli. This one we will talk about because the sold prices are pretty good. $50, $104, $60, $21. This is a very famous Italian brand. It's a designer. The sell-through rate for Isaiah Napoli is 52%. It's worth picking up if you find it. Just know that you're not going to sell it quick. Some of it is worth quite good money. I think $70 is worth sitting for a handful of months. Next is Affliction. Everyone knows about Affliction. I'm not going to get into it. They sell distressed, beat-up, long-sleeve shirts. Sell-through rate's about 51%. Some of it's good, some of it's not. Some of it's worth good money. Brioni, I am going to talk about a little bit. Sell-through rate is exactly 50%. The sold prices are pretty good. Brioni, the sell-through rate can be a little misleading because I've always sold it fairly quickly. When you find a Brioni shirt, if you get it cheap, pick it up, make it look nice, take good pictures, and you might have to wait a while, but it's going to be worth the return. Ralph Lauren Purple Label, sell-through rate's 49%, and I'm not going to go through every one of these. Instead, I'll just show you them. Where were we? Purple Label? Okay, I'm just going to kind of scroll. Messieu, it's like a French brand. I found it before and sold it. It's okay. The sell-through rate is right here. Okay, I'll just leave that highlighted. Drake's London, Rain Spooner. It's not really a dress shirt. It's more of a Hawaiian thing. But I'm going to make a video on Hawaiian shirts. Same with Bamboo K. Twillery, worth good money if you find it. 20 to 25. It's like a performance shirt. You'll feel the fabric. It's kind of like a stretchy type shirt. Rourke, it's more of an outdoors brand. That's why the sell-through rate's not so great in men's dress shirts. Spear and McKay, it's okay. Oxford clothes, some of it's worth a lot of money, but it's really rare. Tom Brown, never found it, don't know what it is. Cinch, huge market size. If you look here, that's a lot of stuff out there, but it's not worth that much money. 20 to 30 if you're lucky. And the rest of these, Giorgio Armani, obviously, if you find it, it's worth a lot, but it's one of those brands where people overprice it so it doesn't sell very quick. Mason James, not quite sure. Barber Napoli, Barber. We're down into the 39% now. So at this point, these brands, you're going to pick up only if You can find a sold exactly like the one you're looking at that's worth a lot of money. Because when you're getting this low in the sell-through rate, then you have to ask yourself why. Jane Barnes is highlighted because it's something I've found before, and I actually like the brand, and we're going to talk about it briefly. Jane Barnes, $26 is pretty good. I've actually found this exact shirt before and sold it. The sell-through rate is not good at 36%, but for whatever reason, I sell Jane Barnes pretty quick for me. The ones that sell the best for me are the weirder ones, the colorful ones, the ones that have fabric made in Japan on the tag, if I can find one of these. If you find a Jane Barnes with this, fabric woven in Japan, let me show you a tag of a regular Jane Barnes. And it's a loud, weird color. Not all Jane Barnes is worth picking up. If you find a blue dress shirt, it's not worth it. If you find like a regular Jane Barnes button-up Oxford shirt, it's not worth it. You find a Jane Barnes that's a little bit shiny, has a bunch of rainbow colors, or it's paisley, or it has a weird geometric pattern, grab it. Especially if it has made in Japan. That's the nuance for Jane Barnes. Normal stuff, not worth it. Weird stuff is. Next we're going to talk about is Untuck It, and we're going to pass by Mouse & Hoffman, Gucci, Rag & Bone, Jaeger, and J. Garcia. 35% sell-through rate on all of those brands. Rag & Bone used to be a lot more. If you find the right piece for Rag & Bone, pick it up and look it up. If you find new with tags, buy it. Untuck It. I highlighted this because this one makes me quite sad. This is another brand like Mizzen in Maine that I used to almost unconditionally buy because I could sell Untuck It no matter what all day for $25 every time I find it. Now the sell-through rate is 34% with 21,000 active and 7,300 sold. The nuance for Untuck It, it's getting harder and harder to tell you what the nuance is for Untuck It. I do well with the chambray, the denim, and the flannel. The cool thing about Untuck It is the new stuff that is recently made will tell you the style name. Let me show you the tag. Will tell you the style name right on the tag, on the care tag. Somewhere around here, if you follow my little cursor, somewhere around here when you open up the shirt, there will be a care tag with the buttons on it. With Untuck It, it'll actually say the name of the style on the newer ones. The old ones don't have it, but the newer, more modern ones do. We're going to pass by Emmanuel Berg, Hawes Curtis, LL Bean. Keep in mind, this is for men's casual button-down shirts. We're not talking about, and dress shirts, sorry. We're not talking about flannels. We're not talking about outdoors type stuff. So in that regard, LL Bean dress shirt, almost always worth leaving behind. Proper Cloth, we're going to pass right by Proper Cloth. Sell-through rate's 33%. And next we have the Behemoth Polo Ralph Lauren. As a brand, sell-through rate for men's dress and button-down shirts, 33%. Not great. Of course, there's a lot of nuance in here. This is worth its own video. I did make a Polo Ralph Lauren just for sweatshirts, I think it was. I've made a lot of videos at this point, but I think it was Polo Ralph Lauren sweatshirts. So another video needs to be made just for the button-down shirts because the nuance is crazy. There's so many ifs, thens, and if nots, yes, and only ifs. As a total brand, a basic Polo Ralph Lauren button-down shirt, plain color, used, don't bother. Just don't. We're going to pass by Eton, Stenstrom's, Paul Stewart, Bogey Milano, Baglioli, all 30-ish% sell-through rate. Next one I will talk about is Patagonia. Men's button-down shirts, it only has a sell-through rate of 31%. Of course, that gets better when you're looking at outerwear, flannel, outdoors. This kind of stuff, insulated, Fjord, the Fjord flannel shirt jackets, that's not what this video is about. But if you find a Patagonia button-down flat pocket flannel shirt, obviously it's a big win. In general, though, if you find a Patagonia regular shirt like this, honestly, I probably wouldn't even buy it because the sell-through rate's terrible. It just is. Patagonia, long sleeve, heavyweight, outdoorsy, yes. But they're basic like polo shirts and stuff. I don't even know if it's worth picking them up unless you get them really cheap. This is what I've learned over time. You don't have to listen to me, but Patagonia is not what it once was. It still has its magic, but the magic lies in the outerwear. I'm going to pass by a lot of brands right now because the sell-through rate's terrible, but I want to at least glance over them. So I'm going to show you where we're at right now, and we're going to go through it. Here's where we're at, Patagonia. I'm going to highlight the sell-through rate. Brooks Brothers, Versace. Of course, if you find Versace, it might be worth it because they sell for a lot. Tom Ford, one of the most valuable shirts out there if you find it, but the sell-through rate's terrible. Carhartt, Canali, this is a decent brand, but just know that it's not what it was. Sell-through rate is 29%. You find the right shirt, you'll be sitting on some good money. Any Canali shirt is going to probably be some good money if it's in good condition, but you're going to be sitting a long time. 29% is a bad sell-through rate. Don't forget that. That's not good at all. Robert Graham is, for me, a no-buy almost no matter what. YSL, I don't pick it up anymore. I know you think I'm crazy, but it's just not worth it. I find that it's just not worth what it was, and I never find it in good condition anyway. Lacoste is a pass. Orvis is a pass. Territory Ahead generally is a pass unless it's outerwear. Peter England. Basically everything I'm about to show you right now is a pass for me, except for Visconti. I will pick up Visconti shirts if they're weird looking. The Luciano Visconti with the weird square buttons and the extra buttons and 2 buttons by 2 buttons by 2 buttons with the buttons on the outside of the collars and stuff. The more buttons on the Visconti, the more money. But normal Visconti dress shirts that are just like basic Oxfords, nope. Stefano Ricci, I've had one of these in my store for over a year. It still hasn't sold, so that's a no for me. Levi's, unless it's a denim shirt, is a no. Or very vintage. David Smith, don't know. Christian Dior, yep, you'd be sitting for a while. Gitman Brothers, 5 years ago, yes, now it's a no. Buttercloth used to be good, now it's not. You find the right piece, you can sell it. Armani Collezioni, sure, if you find the right piece. There's Dior again, I'm not sure why it's there twice. Woolrich, great for the vintage flannels, but men's button-up shirts, if you find a modern Woolrich plaid lightweight cotton shirt, leave it. Wrangler, unless it's a really old Western pearl snap, leave it. Ermenegildo Zegna, this is supposed to have a tab on here, but I didn't bother. I'll just talk about it without the tab. This is a brand that for a long time was like a special thing to find, and it was very rare, and it was worth a lot of money when you found it. And I guess there's not that much to say, because now it's basically trash. Jeeves and Hawks, don't know. Paul and Shark, yeah, no. Tory Richard, some of the Hawaiian shirts, the cotton lawn Hawaiian shirts by Tory Richard can be good. Otherwise, it's trash. Helmut Lang, don't know. Vineyard Vines, super oversaturated. There's 3 or 4 shirts from them that are worth selling. The rest of them are not. Quicksilver, the only thing worth selling for them is Waterman shirts, and that's even less and less these days. Paul Smith, no. Scotch and Soda, definitely not. Used to be, but not anymore. Tommy Bahama, I'm not going to touch that. Not that I'm not going to touch Tommy Bahama shirts, but I'm not going to touch the subject just because it's been talked to death. The only thing worth buying for them is the full panel silk shirts with the big graphics on back, but every thrift store knows about them. If you can find them for less than $30, you're lucky. So I haven't sold one of them in 3 years. Hugo Boss is a trash brand. Etro is a trash brand. Burberry, sell in about 2 years, maybe. If you find it new with tags, maybe. English Laundry is garbage. Suit Supply, sell-through rate of 16%, is one of the big losers of this video. It makes me sad, but it is the truth. We have to live in the real world. And in the real world, Suit Supply is trash now. You find the right item, still new with tags, you can get 40 to 50 bucks for it. If you're lucky, you find one in really good shape, you could get some good money for it. But there is so much competition for this brand on eBay that if you find one for $12, you might be able to get 30 for it. But for that $12, you could buy 3 other shirts that would sell way faster and net you way more money. So when I talk about leaving stuff behind, it's not that you can't make money off it. It's that you could do better with your dollar buying other stuff. So when I say leave it behind, it's not because you can't make it. It's because maybe you should. Now I'm going to scroll past some other brands. Let's take a look. Paul Frederick, nope. Phineas Cole, nope. Look at the sell-through rates. Peter Millar, makes me sad, but for the button-up shirts, typically it's a no. Ralph Lauren Black Label, if you find it new with tags or you find the right piece and you're willing to sit on it for a while, you can make some good money. But with a 14% sell-through rate, I'm going to spend my money on something else. Theory. This one I want to talk about. Theory is a big loser on this list. Used to be a lot better. Around here, you can't even get a Theory shirt at a Goodwill for under 25 bucks usually, which is hilarious because Theory wasn't good since 2019. Now it's gone from good to okay to mediocre. Now it's trash. Theory is a trash brand. I won't pick it up. If I get it for $1, I'll probably still leave it behind and use the dollar for something else. It's a brand I don't like. I don't pick it up. I'm not saying you can't make money on it. I'm saying the sell-through rate is 50%. And if it's used, you're lucky to get $15 for it. So I'm calling it trash. That's me. Do what you want with your money, but I'm not buying Theory. A lot of these brands that you see are going to be luxury brands, and you're going to say to yourself, why are these in the bottom of the list? It's because they don't sell quickly. So you're going to get good money for some of this stuff if you find it. A lot of these luxury brands like Hermes, you're going to have to send them to an authenticator. Then you're going to have to sit on them for 6 months or 7 months, or in this case, a year and a half before it sells. And every thrift store knows Hermes is worth a lot of money, so you're going to pay up for it. I'm going to spend my $20 on 3 or 4 other shirts instead of one Hermes. That's me. So with that said, let's roll through these brands without me saying too much. Alfred Dunhill, we are at 13% sell-through and going down. Stone Rose, trash. Nordstrom, trash. Banana Republic, trash. Hilfiger, trash. Barelli Napoli, trash. Givenchy, trash. Trash Can Bugatti. Caesara, Tully, Napoli, total garbage. George Roth, no. Michael Kors, absolute stomp on it. Throw it in the trash before it gets up and starts walking. Garbage. Igara, total trash. Dolce & Gabbana, yeah, you know what? I'm going to say it. It's garbage. Club Room, garbage. Carol & Co., garbage. Access, garbage. Lord & Taylor, garbage. Landry, John Varvatos, at one point in time, John Varvatos was good, and now it's gone the full gamut. I wouldn't spit on John Varvatos clothing if it was on fire. I wouldn't want to waste my saliva. It's that bad.